What's up guys, Matt Garabedian, the Phenom Investor, here again with a very special video. I'm super excited for you guys to check this out. Guys, what you're about to see is raw, unedited, real talk from several multi-millionaire investors, successful business guys. I wanted to provide a ton of value for you guys, and this is like being in the room and listening to real advice. This is jam-packed with some awesome information that is going to be able to help you in your mindset, give you like tactical things that you could do today in your business. You're getting advice from guys that have been in business some 30 years, some 15 years. So you're not going to want to miss this. This is going to be a longer than normal video, but guys, it's so powerful. I take notes, get a pen and paper and get ready because we brought the heat. All right, without further ado, roll that clip. All right, folks, so, we're talking about how we started making money, because as far as I know, none of us came from money, right?
Right, correct.
Yeah, so how'd you guys start? Like, what happened?
For us, it's primarily real estate. Wholesaling, fixing, flipping, and buying rooms is how we made the bulk of our money up until this point right now. Yeah, just like you said, man, we started making money in real estate. We've had some businesses before we got into real estate. We did okay. We didn't make any money. But now real estate has really propelled us to the next level.
Same here, man. After I quit driving tractor, obviously I didn't make much money doing that, but got into real estate, wholesaling, flipping, and now primarily rentals.
Yeah, I think a lot of people miss the mark and they don't start because they're not educated and they're afraid to invest in themselves. I think a lot of people, they want to get started, but then they don't because they need somebody to hold their hand, but then again, they don't want to make that investment. So for me, I'm trying to, I want to tell people, I want to give people tips to get into real estate. Like, what do you think is a great tip for somebody that's starting?
Start with the marketing. You get your phone ringing. I say this a million times, like, you're not in the real estate business, you're in the marketing business.
Yeah.
So you can say I'm a real estate investor, but you haven't done a deal.
Yeah. Marketing is important, but for somebody starting out day one, if you can afford a mentor, I think, you definitely want to get some mentorship from the right person though. So I look at our life, and when we first started, we were trying to figure it out on our own, but then, our explosion happened when we hired a mentor. So for me, man, for anybody that's looking to start in real estate, I would highly advise them, if you can afford a mentor, definitely start there. But a mentor that can provide you with receipts, make sure that they're doing what it is that you want. To do. Yeah.
For me, man, I would say showing up, that's number one. Get some general, basic knowledge down. But after that, man, I'd just say go all in and just show up, continuously. Because for me, when I started, I didn't really know what the hell I was doing. Yeah. But I did so much activity that it was I couldn't fail.
So when you say so much activity, what does that mean? Because for me, a lot of people, they do activities, but their activities are not income producing activities. I think a lot of people are more so busy than they are productive. So what does that mean for you?
So for me, man, I would say number one would be let's say focus on NODs, notice the defaults. Okay. Get a list and notice the defaults, people with equity. Yeah. And just show up, man. Just show up. Go to every damn house on that list, and I guarantee somebody's gonna need help. It's basically how fast can you get through those no's to get a yes. That's what worked for me.
I think that's a big thing though. When people, they're scared to get that no. So how did you overcome that fear to not be concerned about that no?
Yeah, you have to learn that you fail forward. Yeah. You have to fail in order to succeed. No one comes out of the gate, hey, I'm here, I'm gonna be a success. You have to get comfortable, like Alan's saying, just no. Okay, what can I say better? No. Maybe, follow up. No, yes.
You'll learn by doing it. Yeah. That's the only way you're gonna learn. I didn't even really read any books on real estate. It was just through, maybe I should have, but through the whole process, you just learn what to do and not to do.
I remember that feeling we had when we did our first 6 figures, because it's one thing, seeing that you could potentially make 6 figures. All of us in real estate, you're scheduled to close on the day, but it never happens the day it's supposed to happen. So the first month, after we had, the month after we had that first 6 figure month, for us, it was just game changer because it gave us the confidence, it gave us the belief to say, man, we can really do this and we can do this consistently. So for us, it just gave, at least for me, it gave me that extra boost to say, man, this feels great. I got money in the bank. We're profitable. Let's continue on with these to have multiple.
So he's talking about from like transactions. One of our biggest months happened when we did a refinance. Like we refinanced out a portfolio of properties. I think it was like 6 properties, and we pulled out $300,000 just from a refinance.
Yeah.
Tax free.
All tax free. Yeah. So when that happened, I'm like, wow, I got to do more of this. A lot more of this at a bigger scale. So
Here's something that people don't realize though. If you're making 6 figures in that month, it's really a reflection of what you did 60 and 90 days before that.
Good point.
You know what I mean? Because like you said, it's hard to like escrows lining up and closings in 1 month. And it works both ways. If you're not making any money, it's because you weren't working 69 days ago. Yeah. It's a trailing indicator, right? It's a trailing indicator in real estate. So you always got to be building your pipeline.
Right. Because the pipeline, right? You got to stuff that thing full. You just got to keep packing it. Eventually, it's going to get so full you're going to have, deals coming out the other end. So,
but that's not even just real estate though. That's any business when you think about it. Because if you're selling a beauty product online, you're selling whatever, you got to do the work 60, 90 days before you have that big month. So that's just anything in life.
I mean, the truth is probably when Hex went off in August, that's probably the most money I've ever made on paper. I wasn't realizing.
Trust me, we had the same thing. So we got in early on the coin through a friend of ours, and we made $1 million unrealized gain in the day. And it's like, wow, this feeling is amazing. I need to do this more.
I ain't working again.
I think the biggest thing though about those months is one thing that we learned is tracking the numbers. If you don't track the leading, the lagging is going to really disappoint you. Exactly. And that's something that we had to learn quick because for the longest we always wondered like, why are we not getting the results that we want to get? We never track. We never track to get to that point. I think that's a big thing that a lot of people miss out on.
Huge. And it doesn't need to be crazy. It's like really 5 numbers to track the real estate business. Yeah. It's like if lead flow is coming in and you're not locking up deals, you have an acquisition problem.
Yeah.
Right? But if you've got very little lead flow and you're locking up deals, you got a lead problem.
Yeah.
So if you can track those simple metrics, you can tweak your business and focus on the pain, right?
So talking about pain, what was the biggest pain that you had to overcome in your real estate business or in just your career in general?
That's a good question. I think the biggest thing that I had to overcome was the first time my new hires quit on me. Because I poured everything into them. I mean, I spent so much time away from home, and it doesn't happen. You don't think people are going to quit on you, right? And then when it happened, I was like devastated. I remember calling Mark. I was like, I don't know what to do, man. I just trained my competition. They're going to take me out. Sure enough, like 2 months later, they were out of business. Yeah. But that was a mental thing, right? I was like, man, can't trust anybody.
Yeah. And I think we all go through it. What about you, Adam?
For sure, man. I think Matt and I have talked about this before, but I've sat down with so many people that want to come on board. I think it's like a staffing issue or building a good team, right? Because you have a lot of guys that talk the talk, but when it comes right down to it, people that want to join the team, it's like, okay, can you walk the walk? Right? Yeah. So, for me, I would say finding good people, man.
Yes.
I think besides working with me, what's been your biggest pain?
I think not the biggest pain, but it was just late last year, right before Christmas, we had 100K of fraud that happened to us. So it was 2 deals. One was making $70,000 on, and then the other one was making like $40,000 on. The $70,000, they actually sent us the money. Like we had the money for 2 weeks. And then, so we're feeling good, my team's happy, and then 2 weeks later, our attorney called and was like, yo, this is a fraud case, send the money back. I mean, they had title insurance, but it's like, hey, let's do the right thing. For me, it wasn't more so of a pain, it was just more so our team. Because, like, for my guy, he made 10% commission on those deals, so we made over $10,000. Here it is the month before Christmas. You think, I have this extra money. We did end up allowing him to keep the money, but it was a draw against his future commission. So that was tough for me because it's just like you see how it took a toll on our team, but we bounced back strong.
I think the biggest pain for us, it's kind of what we're going through right now. Just figuring out how to get the team better and how to let go of people that are underperforming.
Yeah, man.
I think that is something that I know I struggle with, and I'm trying to get past that, because Jack Welch said it the best: the team with the best players win. You look at all the best teams, the championship team, they had real good players, and they also had good coaches. So I constantly question myself, like, how can I become a better coach? And I know part of that is having to let go of those people that don't belong in the team. Right. Have you ever been in a situation like that where it's like, I really care about this person, but I know they're not right for the organization?
For sure. And I think that the best way to handle that I've seen and heard is being able to communicate your vision over and over and over and over, so there's no confusion, right? We're here, we're going here, we're going here. And then when there's a problem that comes up, you know, you're like, man, brother, sister, whatever, you know, we've gone so far. You've got me to this point and I appreciate it, but you know where I'm going.
Yeah.
And, you know, lately your performance, your attitude, your everything is just not holding up. I hate to like not finish this mission with you. I hate to let you go. So you're kind of like, I believe in you, but you know where I'm going. I can't accept anything less.
But you know, on the flip side of that is, you know, you have the people that are performing, but one thing that one of our mentors taught us is the people that got you here are not going to get you there, because they're a different level of people. You have a person that's going to help you get to that $1 million business, and that's all their skill set can do is help you get to $1 million. But then we're trying to go to 10 million. So eventually you may have to, you know, put that person in another seat or bring somebody else in that's going to help you get to that 10 million or to that whatever that next goal is we're trying to get to.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this, but like the problem with the real estate business, it's not big enough. Mm-hmm. Like to fit a bunch of people in where they're feeling like they're growing. They'll grow to a certain point, but then they're going to be like, well, I can go do this myself.
Yeah.
So there's a constant.
But is that true though? Because like I think, and that's something we have to do. I think we have to question ourselves as leaders, because as a leader, I think if you build a culture where people want to be, where they can win and they can win consistently, will they really lead you? And that's something that I think about, because when we first started, we was our own bottleneck. We used to always say, I'm not bringing nobody in. They're gonna compete with us. They're gonna take what we're giving them. They're gonna do it themselves. But our best acquisition guy has been with us for a year and a half. He has no desire to start his own business, but we helped him make his first 6 figures in his life. So now we helped him experience something that he's been trying to do for years. So, I mean, I don't want to say he's indebted to us, but we're going to help him to continue to grow and continue to build a culture where he can continue to win.
Some great points, man, but I wonder if it depends on the person. Does it depend on the person? You know?
I think that's key as well, because I know he has no desire to start his own business, but as a part of that interview process, and that's something we always talk about, we need to get better at, is interviewing people, is asking the right questions, and just filling out people, understanding, okay, he has the personality to one day eventually get ready to leave me. But I look at it on the flip side and say, if I train this person good enough, or if I do what I need to do as a leader, even if he leaves me, I'm still okay. Yeah. Like one thing we made a mistake on when we had another business was we built the business around the people and not the business, and not the, I'm sorry, we built the business around the people instead of focusing on the actual business itself. Because if you build a business, if you build a machine the way you're supposed to, it's going to run whether you're doing it, whether he's doing it, or whether I'm doing it.
It's the Patriots model.
Yeah.
Anybody that go play for the Patriots, just think about it, they all just look good. Matt Jones just finished his rookie season, and this guy looked really, really good in that system. Mm-hmm. So we take a look at that. I like to relate everything to sports. I take a look at what they've been able to do. Like, how does a rookie come in, perform the way that he does, and puts up the numbers that he puts up? It's about the system. And one thing that we're realizing, we created a great system. We can bring anybody into that system. And they should be able to thrive. So,
hey guys, so I'm just getting back into social media after maybe a 3-year vacation. You guys have any tips for me on as I'm working through it?
I would say number one, the biggest thing is consistency. Like, don't try to be perfect at it, just be consistent with it. Like, one thing that we struggled with when we first started was we was trying to be perfect. We wanted every video to go viral, and that's just not reality.
Yeah, I read something in a book recently. It says, success comes from unique self-expression. So that success comes from unique self-expression. So what I take from that is like learn to like show off your differences.
Yeah.
And kind of like, you know, don't be so caught up in trying to be fit in. Yeah, uniqueness is interesting. We're all unique people. Like no, God didn't create one single person the same, right? So
that's a
lot of people feel like they need to fit into this certain mold to be accepted. But I think if you start retraining your thought process, like my uniqueness makes me unique.
I think that's the biggest thing one of the biggest things that people need to understand, that they've been molded by somebody else's beliefs, as opposed to saying, you know what, I'm smart enough to come up with my own beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
You may like the iPhone, but I like the Android. That don't make us different. We just have a difference of opinion. I think we live in a world where if you don't agree with my opinion, then I don't like you.
You're rejected, right?
Like, that is
the
so
cancel culture, right?
Right, that is so wrong. It's wrong.
It's horrible.
Because again, we're all living under somebody else's belief system until we say, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I believe in that. I think I want to be different. I think I want to do my own thing, and I want to think how I want to think.
Right.
But you know what? The key example to the belief system is our stories.
Oh,
because the way we grew up, we're the first people to graduate from college. We're the first, millionaires in my family. We had one uncle who probably had a little money, but besides that, it was just us. But the point is, if I had my mom's belief, and I love my mother to death, like she's the greatest person on earth. If I had my mother's belief system, I would not be in this position. I won't be sitting here talking. We met the mastermind. My mom, she would, like, you're paying somebody's yearly salary to just go have friends. She doesn't understand that. So if I would have took her belief system, I probably would be screwed. And at least of where I am right now in my life.
Well, you know why that happens, right? Because you guys are breaking generational curses.
Yeah.
And so there's gonna be some hate towards that, right?
And for us, luckily, we don't have no hate in our family, but it just goes back to the belief system. So I was talking to Austin about this, and he was just talking about how he came up. They were encouraged to go get credit cards at a certain age. When we told my mom we were going to get a credit card, all hell broke loose. Oh, it's the devil, don't do it, that's wrong. And it's like, okay, how else do we build credit?
Yeah.
I don't know, but don't do that.
Don't do that.
And people that mean well sometimes may not be the best for you.
Mm-hmm.
And again, my mom she's given up everything to get us to this point, but there's just certain things that she tells me that I just won't.
Well, think of the advice that our parents gave us or what they got, right?
Yeah.
Go to a four-year school.
Yeah.
Go trade all your time at a job that you hate. Maybe get a little vacation time. Have your babies.
Yeah.
Try to buy a house.
Your insurance.
Pay that off eventually. And then, retire.
Plan for your vacations.
Yeah, and then, you gotta put the kids through school, you gotta have money, braces and all that. It's like, man, that sounds horrible.
I tell people all the time, you gotta be careful on who you get advice from. Whether it's family, it's friends, loved ones, be careful because they have their own perspective on things. And I had to learn that from a personal situation where like somebody's giving me advice and I thought about it, and you're giving me this advice because that's your perspective, that's what you experienced through life. Yep. So I had to come up with what I believe was right, and that's what I'm sticking to.
Just think about it, man. We've all been, I don't know if brainwash is the right word, but basically brainwashed subconsciously since we were kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
The stuff we saw our parents do, man.
Yeah.
The stuff I saw my parents do, molded me into what I used to be, right? So we've all had to break out of that because we couldn't be where we are today. You guys had to kind of get out of that thinking and get away from your mom's thinking. I had to do the same thing because if you don't, we're gonna go right down the same path they were in.
But then the beautiful thing about it though is I can help change my family's thinking. Like from the position that we're in, it's like now I want to put my mom in the position to be investors. I want to put my sisters in a position to own their own businesses. So now I would, for all of us sitting at this table, because we all grew up the same, we didn't come from money. So how do we, get to a position or help our family change the way that they're thinking? How do we get them to think bigger, to do bigger, to say, hey, I don't need this job to make money?
The biggest thing before we even try that, we gotta ask ourselves, do they even want it?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, they say they want something, but when it's time to put that work in, and it's time to do what we do and take the risk that we take, a lot of people are not built for that.
True.
And I think that that's one thing that we need to always remember, that we as entrepreneurs, I think we take ourselves for granted a lot, but we are a different breed of human beings.
For sure.
You really think what we put ourselves through to make the money that we make? Most people ain't taking the risk that we're taking. Like we had a conversation, this happened like 3 years ago, and at that point we were like $2 million in debt. And somebody asked me, how can you guys take on so much debt? I said, well, how can you go to school and take on so much debt and you can't control the outcome?
Yeah.
At least I can control the outcome with the debt that I have. So it's just,
great point.
Yeah, do they want, I think we gotta ask ourselves, do they want it first? Then if they want it, then we come with a plan.
What do you think?
If I had 10K right now, knowing what I know, I'll put it in crypto.
Crypto.
I'll put it in crypto.
Yeah. So I agree. I'll put it in the crypto because I think that's where you see the highest return, the fastest. And then I'll take some of that crypto. If I wanted to get into real estate, take some of that crypto profit and then invest into a mentor that can help me do what I want to do in real estate.
For me, man, I'd probably invest in myself somehow, one way or another, figure it out, because you got to get your mindset right, number one. For me, when I started, I was in that poverty mindset, man, and I spent money on self-improvement, man, and that got me where I'm at today because I got my mind right, and then that led to everything else. So for me, I would say hands down, invest in yourself.
But when you first started, so are you saying when you first started, you made the investment in yourself, or you started and then invested in yourself?
It was about the same time. So I kind of started looking into real estate, but then started paying money for courses, and I started going to seminars, got into Bob Proctor stuff.
Gotcha.
So I don't know if you guys know who Bob Proctor is, kind of an old school guy.
Mm-hmm.
But I started in spending money on those things. And I would say probably Bob Proctor and those guys made the biggest switch for me, like mentally, right? Just believing in yourself. I was watching Grant Cardone before he was cool.
Yeah.
Like I found some old ass videos, 7, 8 years ago on YouTube, and that's the stuff I would watch, man.
Yeah.
I didn't watch anything else. I just Bob Proctor, Grant Cardone, that kind of stuff.
What does that look like for you? How often were you watching those videos?
Oh, that's all I would watch, dude. And I was still driving tractor, and people thought I was, I don't know, stupid or nuts or whatever, but I was basically brainwashing myself, bro. I was listening to these videos over and over and over. And and I got a goal of making a month what they were paying me in a year, which at the time was $40,000. And man, I just kept brainwashing myself and pushing myself. And
That's an interesting point, and I want you all feedback on this. Can you brainwash yourself to be successful?
I did.
Yeah.
I mean,
An example saying right now is definitely possible.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
But you gotta do the work,
Of course.
the mental side, right? To feed the right thoughts.
You gotta believe in yourself, though, number one, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you don't believe in yourself, nothing else matters, right?
Mhm.
For me, I didn't believe in myself, so it was that brainwashing, just listening to that stuff over and over and over, and I started believing in myself. And then once I believed in myself, it came out in actions.
So let's take that a little deeper. Why did you not believe in yourself? Because that's interesting. Like
I
we
would
talk
say-
about why you should, but why you did not believe in yourself.
I would say it went back to like programming, man. What we're talking about with Lego subconsciously. Maybe it's ingrained and we don't even know it.
Yeah.
So do you think your parents or your upbringing had anything to do with that? Because I don't think we've ever, like, one of the things that, like, I told the story in the group, and I ain't gonna go all the way into it, but one of the things that my brother and I've never struggled with is confidence. Because like my mom would always tell us, you can do it, you can believe in yourself, et cetera, et cetera. But I know that there are kids out here that don't have parents that are telling them that they can do it, or their parents aren't even around. So what do you think attributed to you not believing in yourself?
I didn't even know what a goal was.
Wow.
I never even heard about it, dude. A goal. Like when I started like hearing that kind of stuff, it's like life changing, dude. My parents were heroin addicts, like, were raised by them and my grandpa and grandma, but old school, they didn't talk about goals. So when I started hearing that kind of stuff, I'm like, okay, so you can set a goal and then you can start working towards it. It's like life changing, man, if you put it into action.
Yeah, like my dad abandoned us like 3 times. Like he would leave, come back, leave, come back, leave. It's like the first time that happened, I don't remember because I was maybe 4th or 5th grade. And I asked my mom, like, was I sad? She's like, you were devastated. but I think I suppressed those emotions for so long, you know, like it kind of like, I don't know, just scar tissue over it.
Yeah.
So, you know, like a lot of times I've had self-confidence issues. I have to work on my self-confidence because of fear of abandonment, fear of not being liked, you know, those types of things that all stem from our childhood. Yeah. But again, I've been reading a lot, you know. I love reading because it helps my mind calm down.
Talking about there's you know, a lot of businesses out there that people come to us, right? They're like, dude, I want to make $100,000 a month. The average business makes 20% net profits, maybe with good business. So that means you got to be making at least $500,000 a month to hit that number, which is a $6 million a year company, but all their actions are $1,000 building. Like, you know, everything you're doing, like to build a $500,000 a month company, you have to do different than what you did to make $10,000 a month, $20,000. So it's like some people get skewed and they're like frustrated. Why is it working? It's not that the 500 is not possible. It's that you don't have the mindset to build the $500,000 a month business.
And it always comes back. That's what we've been talking about a lot is the mindset, right? And we all disagree, right?
Yeah, but what did you do to build your mindset to get to that point where you have a company doing 500, a million, 2 million a month?
Yeah, I mean, well, getting around other people, right?
Yeah.
That are doing it, so you can actually borrow their belief to drive your revenue. One, realize that you're in the right model to be able to produce that, right? Like if you're a garage seller, it's gonna be tough to get out there and grind that out. You have to come up with a different path. Maybe teach other people how to be garage sellers, get a piece of their business, and they could have $2 million to net that $100,000 a month profit margin stream, but you don't have to do all the work, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, maybe it's because I'm just lazy by you know, being natural. So it's like, how can I scale to hit my numbers, but I got to become a different person. I got to become a better leader. I got to invest in marketing constantly. You guys talk about brands, right? So you got to be building your brand, you got to build your awareness, and you got to be building the company.
So you talk a lot about, you know, borrowing someone's belief. Where did that come from? How did you learn about that? And what is borrowing someone's belief for the person that doesn't understand what that means?
Well, I didn't know what this, we all do it, right? Like you're hanging out with someone, they run the 4-minute mile, and then all of a sudden everyone else is running it. Mm-hmm. It's not because they didn't believe they could do it, they just didn't know it was possible. Then someone did it, and they're like, he can do it, why can't I? Yeah. So that's kind of really what the belief, but Jonathan Riviere is responsible for the borrowing the belief effect in the DMFM, right? So he talks about borrowing belief all the time. It's a real thing, man. Like, you know, what makes us think we can even do what we're doing now? Yeah. You know, we need to find someone with a bigger belief system than us even. You know, like if you're doing $1 million a month, how do I get to find that guy making $5 million a month? Yeah. And then you meet these guys and you're like, shit, dude, they're not no smarter than me. You know, I mean, look at us.
I mean, that happened when I met you. I'm like, this guy, no way.
I look in the mirror and say the same thing. I get it, man. I think that's another cool thing about entrepreneurship is you got to be genuinely true to yourself. You got to make fun of yourself. You got to have fun with yourself. You got to be silly. You got to say stupid shit. I think when I was outside looking in, I always thought entrepreneurs are all well dressed, wearing $10,000 suits, sitting at tables, very serious stuff. All of our buddies, we're just fucking around, right? So it's just fun. True, right? We say we say silly stuff all the time, but I think it's but then there's a time to be serious, right? And the rubber meets the road. But I think outside looking in, like, oh, these guys got their shit dialed in. It's like everyone's on the same path trying to figure it out every day.
It's the same. We just had
the conversation we talked about. Like I said, I think one of the messages that we gotta do better. Like I look like I got it together, but I don't. I'm just like you. I wake up every single day and I'm figuring it out every single day, just like you. But I'm figuring out a little bit different, but I'm still figuring out something. Like Jeff Bezos, he's figuring out something.
Yeah, 100%. Well, that's the thing is, what questions or what problems are you trying to figure out on the daily?
Yep.
The bigger you get, you have to be figuring out bigger problems. You're going to be dealing with lawyers, you're going to be dealing with financial advisors, you're going to be dealing, instead of calling Home Depot for your real estate or calling the accountant saying, why are we 12 cents off? Like, does that really change the game? Yeah. Some people are they're stuck in the same problems, expecting different results, right? So.
I think one thing, Lopez, that's one thing that we, one of our mentors, we talked to him about. And I said, I asked him, how does it feel to be rich? He said, I feel regular. My problems just cost me more money. That's it. He said, I got problems just like you guys have problems. Mine just maybe cost a little bit more money.
Mm-hmm. The interesting thing about being rich is, one, what does rich mean, right? I think there's a lot of rich people who don't have dollars in the bank. Mm-hmm. I was rich before I became wealthy, right? I started getting money because you have to become the person you want to get the wealth you want to generate anyways, right? You can't be the rich guy or rich girl, whatever, unless you have the mindset built up to get to that point. Because if not, and I did this for years, I almost went bankrupt twice because of it. I was figuring out a way to get rid of my money because I didn't understand how to be rich initially. made a lot of money, but you're like, to be rich, you got to have good teams, good people, understand taxes, understand like how to keep it. We're great at making it, entrepreneurs are.
Yeah.
Keeping it's the hard part.
Yeah.
You know, like how to be rich. Well, you gotta be, first I think it starts with you. You gotta be happy. You know, what makes you happy? We like building businesses and growing stuff, right? I'm just, did you guys?
No,
I just think that like the real stuff, the whole reason we're here is because we're fucking building for our family.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I agree 100%. 100%.
Yeah, you may start off saying something like that.
Yeah, I think like, you know, if you ask someone's motivation, right? Like it's not really a car, it's not a better house. I mean, those things were cool to have, but really the real reason behind it is because we're trying to build a better life for our kids, right? Our wives and our kids, and be that guy that I call it break the generational curse.
I was gonna say this, you know, we were talking about that earlier. When you asked the question, we like for you guys to break the generational curses, and that's really what it boils down to. Like we're the first millionaires in our family, and for my family, that's game changing because they see, and again, like you said, borrow belief. They can borrow our belief, and they can see, like, man, we grew up the same way. You know, you was raised the same way we was. This is from my cousin, so they can see and say, hey, you know, if they can do it, we can do it as well.
I know for me, what's really important is I started with zero. So I started way back from the finish line. Imagine if I made that finish line closer for my kids. What is they like? What does that do to their life? So for me, that's my why. I'm doing it for my kids so they can have a closer start to the finish line.
Yeah, I'm doing it for many reasons, but I mean, ultimately it's for a family, right? It starts off for yourself, the cool cars, the cool houses. That's what motivates us when we want to stop. It's like, but I gotta get that car to get that girl, to have that family. You know, because that's the only clear way to get a girl. It's a car, a nice house or something. It ain't money, but money helps get that. But no, at the end of the day, now you have these things. Now, how do we create that generational wealth? How do we build that financial legacy in the family tree? And then, you know, cut it off at the roots and go, you know, what we've all done is replanted a new tree in better soil, more fertile soil. We're going to grow it higher, we're going to grow it stronger, we're going to go deeper. And we're going to ultimately build these branches out through friendships, relationships, business deals, all this stuff that we're able to do. And it all started because we took action and started, you know, got uncomfortable to get comfortable.